been doing a bit of webcamming, is what he's on about.
I was just about to say that. It's only on his OnlyFans, but
Fans,
you know.
yeah.
You was dying
Right,
to say something like that. Phil, I could tell it was like you was dying to say something. Bonjour, everyone.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hello, everybody.
A full gang. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back, SJ. Welcome back, Amber. Welcome back. Well, Liz and Tayters can't get me, Len.
I sat the last one out, thank you. I got stuck.
No, yes. With what's it called? Our life.
Yeah, work. Yeah. Not fun, but necessary.
So, who thinks that there's not really a lot going on
Depends what you mean by not a lot. There's
in the world?
a bit coming up.
We all gather together and talk about like.
Well, yeah, even the Rey movie has done the hokey-cokey this week, hasn't it? With you know, it's definitely indefinitely delayed, and now they've come out and said that it's not, and it's starting filming in May, I think it is.
That's a good description.
They're starting filming in May, but they haven't got a script.
Yeah, they haven't got a script yet, and there's no casting announcements either. And you'd think that they'd need a few more actors than just her.
Who said
no? See, that's where you're wrong. That's what Disney are going to do. It's just going to be Rey Skywalker all the way through. This is Rey going to the supermarket. This is Rey going, you know, gonna have a shower.
The new Jedi Order is just one Jedi. One.
That's all you need.
It's going to be a desert planet, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're
having a spa night.
But what was the latest? The last I heard, rumor-wise, was that the release is now pushed back to December 2026 instead of May 2026. What's her face? Charmin Chenoy has lost all of her other Star Wars projects. She's been sacked from all of those. She's had her wages decreased by 35% for the Rey movie, and Daisy Ridley was threatening to walk off, so they put her wages up, which Chenoy is not too happy about.
Yeah, $12 million is being bandied around for her wages for the film, right? Daisy Ridley, like what? Where does that come from? I mean, I must admit, like a bloody good agent must be, but because she doesn't do anything. Like you walk down the street and said, "Oh, Daisy Ridley," people go,
"Who?
Oh, really? Yeah, at your age, I reckon you do."
Yeah, I mean, everything else that she's done has been both like critically panned and has done naff all at the box office either.
I think there is something to say though that the Star Wars stars do take a big risk, because I mean, ever since the prequel trilogies, there's been they've been considered the most toxic fans, you know. So she's taking on this job knowing that even if it turns out to be a good movie, there's going to be people who absolutely trash it, and which I don't think it's going to be a good movie. So there's going to be a lot of people trashing it.
There's been a lot of people standing up reminding Bob Iger of what he said at the Deal Book Summit not so long ago.
Yeah,
about, you know, we got to stop all the messaging, and we got to do quality over quantity, and da 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 da, and you know.
And then this.
But how can you say you're gonna go into like start filming in May when you haven't even got the script finished? What's it going to be? Star Wars improv?
Well, because it's the guy from Peaky Blinders, isn't it? Right in the script.
Yeah, and they just announced the Peaky Blinders movie, so he's
So he's again within that rumours that I heard, he's actually thrown down that if he gets any more notes, he's done, he's out, and he'll just go and do Peaky Blinders.
Yeah,
and he's finished with Star Wars. Because he said, I've had to rewrite the script twice already because the amount of notes I'm getting down from the office, and this is constantly changing my story.
This is what we've kind of said all along, though, isn't it? A lot of us, like, it's not written by the writers, is it? And it's not directed by the directors, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars. It's from.
They just don't seem to know what's going on. Like, you think of the amount of Star Wars films that were supposed to be in production and then have just disappeared. So you got like the old Rian Johnson trilogy. The guys from Game of Thrones, they were supposed to be doing something. Old Taika Waititi was supposed to be doing something. Like, none of it's happened. And then they announced the Mando and Grogu thing as well this week, or the other week.
That was to take the heat off of all the shit that's going on with the Daisy Ridley film.
See, that I can see happening. That I can see. That's had a modicum. It's just, you know, let's take all the passion, all our passions and likes and dislikes out of it. From a business point of view, up until series 3, Mando, Grogu sells toys.
Yeah.
Just from business point,
Well,
just
so
business decisions. I can see a Mando and
that
Grogu.
movie has now been pushed to the May 2026 slot, and the other movie's been pushed back to December.
It's pretty dire, though, isn't it? When out of all the rich characters you've got within Star Wars, you're basing all your hopes on a Mando and Grogu movie.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Instead of rebooting the whole thing, really.
I think it's just a case of, right, what's less shit than this? Oh,
Yeah,
Mando and Grogu.
Yeah, but they just like something that's recognised.
All the ideas of all the ideas they could do.
But
Keep saying it, Old
even-
Republic.
Yeah, but even Grogu as well in series 3, unless they do something radical, like turn him into like teenage Grogu or grown up.
Oh, that would be
Grogu,
awful.
Like they did with Groot.
Yeah, I was just
like they
thinking
did with Groot.
Sitting there playing his video game.
Yeah, but he's going.
But no,
"Oh,
unless they sort of sort of age him up in terms of Yodify him a bit more, if you know what I mean, then yeah, I think everyone's just sick of him, of the kind of like the stupidity of it.
oh,
I do, I do.
That's
I
his
do.
precious
I do
bag
think
of sand.
everyone's sick of the character.
I wonder if
Is
it is a picture of Grogu, as you say.
I just think, some
Oh.
stupid thing that makes baby noises, and then they did the whole, he's got force powers, and then he hasn't, and he's meant to be 50 years old, and it's just like, just makes no bloody sense.
It was a mess, wasn't it? It was a mess.
Yeah.
I think they've got to bring him back in the robot though. That goes, yes, yes, yes. No, no. Oh god. Oh god. We're remembering all the good times we've had.
I know.
Star Wars.
Even the Mandalorian character is a bit
Dry.
Yeah.
dry now because of what they did in series 3, and unless it's actually going to be Bo-Katan as the Mandalorian.
Of course. it
Well,
will.
yeah, so they're calling it the Mando and Grogu. That just means it could be anybody in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyone that's loosely related to the Star Wars franchise. We don't need
Yeah.
title characters.
And the longer
They couldn't do that. They can't do that because Mando is what's his face? The
Bin-
guy.
Jarring.
Din Djarin, yeah. It's
Yeah.
there's if they say Mando and Grogu and it's some different Mandalorian, I think that fans will be
I've
like,
still got my bin somewhere.
Yeah, you've been, when you was being jarring, remember that?
oh
Bin-
yeah,
You're saying that, Amber, but it will be what's her face? It won't be Pedro.
Yeah. I reckon it'll be Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Could be. They're not got what a male lead in Star Wars.
can't do that anymore.
No, it doesn't work. Apparently. Anyway.
Apparently, their goal is to make men angry. What was that article?
Oh yeah.
mate.
Her statement that
Uncomfortable.
Shari Shinoy,
Make men uncomfortable.
make men uncomfortable. She
Well,
enjoys making men uncomfortable.
Well,
I just don't
she's
understand
done
Well,
why-
she does that just by them looking at her. So, like,
Yeah,
sorry.
that. matches your thumbnail. Wow.
But didn't they
gotta
announce that
wonder-
Ahsoka wasn't happening either?
oh
No.
really?
Season 2. I swear they announced that season 2 of Ahsoka wasn't happening.
Well, they haven't announced it, but the fact that what's her face, who plays Ahsoka,
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson, in an interview said no one has mentioned it at all to me.
That's not good.
Now the actor strike is done. The writer strike is done. Hollywood's getting back going again. Things like Deadpool 3 and the Daredevil Born Again are all rolling again. Hollywood's going again. Wouldn't you think if there was going to be a series 2, they would have maybe spoken to us? But this is Disney, isn't it?
I honestly, I do think they will do a season 2, but I don't think we're going to get that season 2 for a couple of 3 years. I really don't. That's good. That's a few years away.
We'll see how near my predictions are. No series 2 of Ahsoka. You ain't going to see a Rey movie. And
What about Echo
Look.
series 2? What do you think? Sorry.
well, the way they just kind of
Yeah.
just kind of dropped it in one go for the first time. That is the first. am I wrong, or is that the first series they've dumped that way?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
Everything else they've kind of done weekly, haven't they? But this
Yeah.
one, oh, you're like,
Wasn't it a couple of episodes and then they dumped the rest almost?
No, didn't they do it all in one go? I thought they
Yeah,
literally
it was
did
all
it all in one go.
all in one go.
Yeah.
I watched all
Episodes and then they
5.
All 5 episodes. Just like, yeah, we've got no faith in this. We'll just throw the lot at them in one go.
I think it's an experiment though, because I mean, think about this. Netflix has been doing it like this for ages, and they've been putting out some pretty banging shows lately. They're doing a good job. And I think maybe they're recognizing that, okay, when you put out something of quality, now obviously they must have thought they had something with Echo, but you put something out with quality, it's not like the hype dies away over time. Look at what happened with One Piece. One Piece came out, there was a bunch of people who saw it, and then a bunch of people who heard, did you hear about this One Piece show that like did really well in its first weekend on Netflix? And then they go and watch it and they're like, this is actually good. And then they tell people, I don't think that there's this need to hype things up. People like to be able to binge it, see it all the way to the end, and say, that was satisfying to the end. Like, I want to hear that a show is good all the way to the end. I don't want somebody to be like, dang, I saw the first 3 episodes of whatever, you need to check it out. Like, what about the rest of it? Oh, it hasn't come out yet. And you're like, do I want to risk getting invested?
And that's the thing. I said this right after when like phase 4 started, when they started doing WandaVision and they was doing it weekly. I said they need to drop it in one go, but then in order so that way you don't lose momentum week on week. But if you're still dropping it in one go, you have to do something in each episode to make you want to just let the next episode loading continue. Otherwise, you're just going to turn it off. You have to keep people hooked, and they didn't do that. I watched 1 episode of Echo, and I was done straight away.
Yeah,
didn't want to watch anymore.
And that was the important part of what you said, Amber, with what Netflix are doing.
Yeah,
they're doing programs that people, like a global audience, want to watch.
It was the same with Squid Game, because obviously that got dropped at once. And you look at the success of that, and people just binged it. People were staying up till God knows what time in the morning.
I'm sure as well. Netflix they're literally owning it, and they have for a long while. To be fair, they do have their misfires, but
everyone does.
Everyone, yeah. They will have. What was it? Resident Evil.
True.
That was a good one. That was a good one to mock. You could really get your teeth into it. Like if you've got
who done Halo?
Amazon. Was it Amazon?
Paramount. Yeah, I remember watching about 10 minutes of the first episode. Like, no, I'm all right.
Yeah, they kept showing Master Chief's ass, and obviously he took his helmet off. Which
I knew nothing about.
That's what she said.
The backstory of it. I'm not the game person, so.
You said arse and helmet within.
I know.
The one thing that was missing from Mandalorian.
True.
Oh my God, YouTube's going to be down on me again. Like, man, I told you about my troubles. I've just repeated it. So that's it's all gone.
If I can talk about banging on my channel, I think we're okay talking about
banging.
Who's banging what?
I always talk about the teenage characters in Wheel of Time. And yeah, they're banging again, banging with their clothes on, because that's the only way you can bang.
Dry humping.
Yeah.
Dry hump, yeah.
Basically, yes.
It's a lost art.
Lost art. Like hitting them up.
Unappreciated foreplay.
Anyway.
Yeah, right. Back on track.
Come on, SJ. Listen, you missed the last one where we spoke about One Piece. But
okay.
No, Blue Eye.
Blue Eye Samurai.
Blue Eye Samurai.
Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Yes.
And you seem to be its #1 fan.
I am, yeah. I love it. Absolutely.
Take it away.
So what is can you have you put your finger on what it is that's kind of sparked your imagination so much with this? I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked it, I enjoyed it, but you seem to be a proper #1 fan.
Yeah, I think when you take all of the episodes on balance. And and I only ever usually, apart from like classic stuff like, you know, Lord of the Rings and all that sort of stuff, which I've seen loads of times, but most, and Star Wars, obviously the original trilogy, I've seen loads of times, but most stuff I won't rewatch. So I'll rewatch it to review it, if that makes sense, but I won't actually rewatch it for pleasure. Does that make sense? So I'll rewatch it, I'll enjoy it the first time quite often, but it's not going to be something that, you know, I'll go out my way to rewatch. And I've rewatched this series 5 times now.
Wow.
I've also seen God knows how many reaction videos on it, and I'm not really a fan of reactions either. So I've seen God knows how many reactions on it and reviews of it, and I think it's a combination of things. I think it's very intelligent writing behind it.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to hate it because it was like I thought it was going to be another strong whammon protagonist, you know, now being a kick-ass samurai. And I really like the way that they do the whole way through it. And if you do watch it again, you will notice this. So it's really little things within the series. So it's the fact that there's all of these kind of callbacks to earlier episodes and things that you see. So the fact that the scarf that she wears to hide her Adam's apple is Tigan's. The cloak that she wears is actually her husband's, Migio's. There's all of this kind of detail that you actually get from a second watch.
The mother and the child.
Yeah, the mother and the child. It's just, there's just stuff like that throughout. And stylistically, for some of the episodes, they've definitely chosen things, and you can see why. These people love entertainment, and you can tell because it's got so many great influences throughout, and you can kind of recognize that as well. But I also thought there was a lot of unexpected stuff in it as well, like the fact at the end of the 4th episode when sorry, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the series yet, but like at the end of the 4th episode when she mercy kills the girl, you know, and you're completely expecting it to go in a really kind of Western way where she, you know, sort of saves the girl and takes her out of there and all the rest of it. And she doesn't, she kills her.
Yeah, I thought
because she's so focused on what she's doing. And I just liked the way that they kind of proved all of that. There's other things in it. There's so obviously in the first episode, obviously she cuts off that guy's fingers with the gun, and it's got her maker's mark on it. That knife that she cuts his fingers off. And obviously it's just little details like that. Episode 5 with Ringo, where he actually kills someone by accident, to be fair, because obviously, you know, basically gets pushed into him. But you know, she says, start with a kitchen knife. And obviously that's a callback to Swordfather, who told her, start with a kitchen knife. It's things like that throughout. And the more you kind of see each episode, the more you kind of go, oh shit, I didn't notice that the first time.
I'm with you, SJ. It was that good. It was that good. I loved it all the way through. There's only one thing I can remember in it that made me sort of like go, ooh, maybe not that. And the only bit there was when she was climbing up the mountain, literally by her fingertips, dragging that bloke up on her back. That was the only bit where I like, if they could have changed that would have been the one.
Did you realise that was kind of a gaming episode? So it was basically like a video game, and they chose that very stylistically for that purpose. And obviously that's her climbing up with the guy on her back is a reference to Assassin's Creed. That's where that actually comes from. So that, do you know what I mean? I can see the reason for it. I can see the reason.
Like I say, that was the only bit out of that entire series that made me sort of like,
I do get that. I mean, some of the stuff, I mean, it is a fantastical show. I mean, it's about 100 years out of date in terms of the time period with what they're saying. But there's some fantastic making of videos as well, by the way, on YouTube.
Yes, I did them. They were really, so I love all that, because the art for me, stylistically, especially like the scene with her and her husband, where it turns into autumn, so it goes through the seasons. Is that autumn? I thought it was beautiful art and animation. I really.
That was episode 5.
Yeah, you can tell everyone, like you just said, everyone. I think everyone involved just loved doing it.
Absolutely.
Writers like making episodes resonate with what's gone before, or the art team and how they did the stunts, the fights, the stunts and the fights, in live action, and then
yeah.
animated.
And it's that kind of and the fact that they looked up all the patterns for the kimonos, and she actually, you know, she got dressed in a proper ceremonial kimono to show them the difference in movement and things like that. There's things like, and again, it's episode 5, but there's so much about all the episodes I absolutely love. But in episode 5, the designers have actually spoke about the fact that they softened all of her features.
Yeah.
To make her appear more feminine, as she was sort of coming into her, you know, being married and fulfilling that role. You know, stupid little stuff like that. Just, yeah, I absolutely adore that series. I thought
Even down to her name. Mizu.
Water.
Water, yeah, it's relentless. It's gonna just keep coming no matter what, and it will take down mountains.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it's things like that, you know, and it's so rare to get side characters with depth, backstory, who you're actually invested in, who you actually, you know, I mean, Ringo, bless his little cottons, he's like one of my favorite characters, Peaches and all that.
Yeah.
But like he's one of my favorite characters. But again, it really flawed, just completely naive.
Yeah.
You know.
You do need those characters to.
Yeah.
I think we were discussing in the last hogCAST, like if you've got, and she is unlikable, like she isn't the character you kind of. She's well, and it's intentional. I know she's the kind of anti-hero, if you want to call it that, or the bastard. But you need a colourful ensemble.
Yeah.
Whether it's the villain of the piece, and like the Irish fella and the guys round the table with him.
Yeah.
Kind of quite colourful characters themselves. You know, they're good villains. They're decent villains that aren't easily beaten. Like they're sneaky. Like he's second in command, the Japanese guy who gets his hand chopped off. Like they're all the machinations of it. Yeah.
And there's so many places they can take it. I mean, I keep thinking about series 2, you know, is it actually going to turn out that it was her mother that was white?
Yes,
that'd be an interesting twist.
That would be interesting.
I don't think they're going to get though, because that boat they were saying just had 2 sons.
Explain why she was with the nurse, right?
Yeah.
Instead of with her mother.
Yeah.
But they're going to London.
Yeah.
Well, are they? You don't know, do you? You don't know.
Well,
you know.
the guy, the last thing he says to her is London, or the last thing we see,
Oh, we see her on the boat and stuff, but yeah.
It's pretty cool in London. I think if it's Victorian, would it be Victorian era? Early Victorian?
Before that. That.
Oh wow.
Before Victorian. Yeah.
Anyway.
Is it?
Yeah. It's 17 something, I think it is. Is that? Or early 18?
Really? Yeah. Okay, then it would be. Well, it says the
Which
date at the beginning of it. What was that date?
I'm sure it's 17 something.
Late 1700s, wasn't it? Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Late 1700s.
Google.
Oh, Google to the rescue.
With us.
Can't believe I've seen it 5 times and I can't remember the date, but I'm sure it is late 1700s.
To be fair, there's nothing else to watch, is there? Unless anyone else has been watching anything that's of any kind of decent.
The 1600s.
Oh, it is 1600s, yeah. Even earlier. I thought it was 1700s. So yeah, London, that would be quite an interesting period in London, I think.
Yeah.
Less street crime.
Maybe.
I think there was more.
I wonder if they'll take, because so I was watching a video on another booktuber, Savage Books. He's a creative writer, and he was talking about putting political and social messaging in shows, and it's obnoxious. So it doesn't matter which side, even if they're preaching what you believe in. It's obnoxious when it's done clumsily and it doesn't feel like it's necessary to the narrative, like it was really jammed in there. This was one of those cases where the narrative was orbiting these major world problems for women at the time. You know, I forgot the name of the other girl, but she was, you know, her whole life was, who does she get married to? Because that's going to literally determine her own future. And then you have this woman who is taking revenge because she has no place in this world, not only for being mixed race, but also a woman, and really can't let anyone know that she's a woman.
Mm.
And I wonder if they're going to take that same, like, it was well done in that it explored ideas in a way that wasn't obnoxious. Like,
and it wasn't just white
yeah.
man bad either. It
Yeah.
really showed the xenophobia and the cultural problems that existed in
Yeah.
Japan.
So what
You
I'm
know.
wondering is, if they're going to London in the 1600s, are they going to continue with this exploration, but in Europe now? Like, what was the situation for women in Europe in the 1600s? What were the similarities that we were seeing, and you know, things like that?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting because even though obviously she is a female character and they've explored it so well, she's just so bloody well written.
Mm.
You know, she's just so well written. You know, her motivations and her drive, and you know, the whole the amount you have to go through to get to that level of self-hatred where you're prepared to take revenge just because, you know, the world treats you coolly because of the way that you look. I mean, there's a huge amount of self-hatred there.
Just proves what you can do though when you write a character well and have a good
absolutely.
narrative and a good story.
And embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace the madness, like you said, SJ, the fantastical. You know, the only tiny bit that kind of just grated on me was her injuries when she was getting injured. Like she'd get a big metal, like I think it was the last episode, some big metal thing goes through her leg. She snaps it off, and then she's all right. She puts a little bit of bandage around. But listen, we're in an animated.
She got a lot of damage.
Yeah, have you watched the
she got a
Raid?
lot of damage.
No, that's just one example I'm giving you.
Mate, in the midst of a fight, in the midst of a fight, maybe if she got stabbed in the leg with something, and then she can still carry on.
Yeah, that would be adrenaline carrying you through. But
absolutely.
But
this was excessive, though. She did experience excessive injury that should not have allowed her to continue, no matter how pumped up her adrenaline was. Like it was a bar that went through her Achilles, like between her Achilles tendon and her ankle. It was
rocking along so well.
Yeah.
And it is.
But
it's not real life, and I just you plow on. If it's that one thing.
It's not meant to be completely. It's done in the style, obviously, of Japanese anime. And if you've ever seen any Japanese anime, you know that, like, you know, you know, these people do fight armies, and
I do think they toe the line, though. I think that they're right on the edge of too much.
They're they are rope skipping a little bit. I will agree, but it's the same with the door. You know, she should have been crushed and things like that, but. You know, they preface that with her almost becoming the demon, and pure rage, you know, enables her to get them off. So I think they've done it quite well. I definitely do not think she's a Mary Sue in any way.
Absolutely not. I've got 9.5.
That's not a complaint at all. The complaint is she enduring more than what's humanly possible, and yet we're also expected to view these as these very real human situations.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, when they obviously you see the seasons change when her and Tigan get injured. You actually see the seasons change, which I think a lot of people miss. They think that they just got up 2 days later and walked it off almost, but the seasons have actually changed when they're actually up and about. So I do think they covered. You know, and some of it's done quite subtly as well, I think. So people do kind of miss stuff like that sometimes, but yeah.
Well, where we're in at the moment is, see, with other shows and other networks, they would have had to tell you that the season's changed. Oh, look, it's snowing outside now. Oh shit, it's been 3 months.
I don't think that it would be too much to ask, though, for if it's so subtle that most people are missing it unless they watch it a second time, to say you need to do something to call just a little more attention to it. Like maybe show a leaf falling and have it shift from green to yellow to orange, and then by the time it hits something. And I know that seems like, isn't that explicit? Well, if you have changes like it going from summer to fall, like having the season change, and the majority of people didn't notice it, something was missed. It was, and it could be just a tiny bit stronger of an indication, just a little bit more attention drawn to it in some way. But you don't want the majority of people missing it, because then you get the majority of people going, well, it took her forever, it took her like 2 days to heal from these like totally horrendous wounds. This doesn't make any sense. So what are we expected to believe? And then you have like a small group of people who say, no, watch it again. You'll see that the seasons change. But the thing is, it doesn't take away that initial, like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, you've already tainted the experience. You don't want that to happen. You want for the most people to understand what's going on.
It's such a fine line, though, isn't it? As well, where like
it is.
It's so risky that they then sort of slip into and then this just happened. And then this just happened. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we've ended up, unfortunately, in most modern entertainment, is the fact that, they treat you like you're stupid.
I believe that the Blue-Eyed Samurai people could do it. I think they're on the edge of, this is an art piece and this is entertainment. But it definitely has the potential to reach a wider audience and be more fully enjoyed the first time around, so that people want to go and watch it a second time, because they're picking up on, oh, I missed a lot of stuff. Like when you and I talked, SJ, I had no idea, like, all the callbacks and things that were in the first episode, because it went right over my head. But if there were some hints, maybe by the end, of things that, hey, you missed some things that were in there that we deliberately put in there, I think I probably would have been like, wait, I want to go back and watch it again, so that now I can experience it and notice those things. Like the reconsumable entertainment, you get to the end of it and you are aware that there is stuff you missed and you want to go and find it. But if you get to the end and you missed it and you aren't even aware that you missed it, you don't care to go back and reconsume it. That's the only, like, real complaint that I would have there.
Do you think a lot of the people have missed it because a lot of the other entertainment is dumbed down now, so they're not in tune with with a more sophisticated storytelling?
I watch a lot of art films. I watched quite a few art films, and I really enjoy reconsumable entertainment, and I look for those sorts of things. This just wasn't done in a way that I think most audiences would be able to pick up on it. Even people, I think, who do look for those sort of things would be aware of them. Like, it's very subtle, the scarf belonging to it was Tygan's scarf, you said?
It was Tygan's scarf, yeah, that she hides, because she wears the scarf to obviously hide the fact that she hasn't got an Adam's apple.
Yeah. And then the cloak belonging to her husband, but you want to also have story moment callbacks. So to do it just with set pieces and props is not always enough. Like, okay, take the basic mystery concept. It's clues hidden throughout a story, and then you get to the end and you realize, oh, I should have noticed all of those clues in the story at some point. And so you want to go back and read it again so that you can, like, oh, there it was, I didn't notice it there. Oh, that's it, I didn't see that there. That's reconsumable in the plot. So you want to do a similar thing with characters, with plot, with maybe with the world building. And if you're only doing it with, like, costume pieces, that might not be enough. But I don't think that they did. It is just with costume pieces. Like,
no, it's with loads of dialogue as well. Loads of dialogue, loads of callbacks to the story. Obviously, and again, it's episode 5, I know. But, the fact that her weights obviously then turn into the Naginata. And obviously you hear her husband say to her, no better weapon when you're surrounded. Maybe a bit old-fashioned, but no better weapon when you're surrounded. And it's things like that which just made it, I mean, it blew me away, and I wanted to hate it. It was my friend James who got me to watch it, and he was like, you've got to watch this, Sarah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I was like, oh, okay. She, it's a woman samurai. I'm like, really, a woman samurai? All right, James, let's stick it on. But that was it. We like, literally, I was just like, we watched 5 episodes, I think, the first night, and then we watched the rest the next day. I couldn't even get through to the evening. I was like, I've got to know what happens next. And I don't often get surprised by things. I usually know what's going to happen, even if it's really supposedly unexpected. I usually know what's going to happen. This caught me by surprise quite a few times, where I was like, I just don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
It really did for me personally, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea and things like that. But there again, loads of people say Arcane is a masterpiece, and I fell asleep in episode 3 halfway through. So
Oops. Well, it was nice knowing you, SJ. See you later.
you know, so but that's the great thing. But I do think, considering it was made in a year, you know, they made it in a year.
Did it cost $225 million?
I don't think so.
No, like the
Don't know
first
the budget
series
on
of like the first series of She-Hulk.
You know, they made it in a year as well, and just the care, the attention, the detail. And I love, admittedly, you know, you do need quite a good telly, but I love the 3D 2D as well, and obviously the rotoscope that they could do because they were using those techniques. Yeah, I just thought, you know, bits of it were just, yeah, like a painting. It's just beautiful.
Some of the artwork on it, and I do like that side of things. And animation wise, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Just on a side note, SJ, did you ever see the manga Ninja Scroll?
No, but I'm thinking I need to check it out now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of my favorite animated movies.
No,
Absolutely.
I would definitely
Try
give
that.
it a go.
It is as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the final thing for me is you can just tell this was you know, written by people with a passion for entertainment. You know, from the Clint Eastwood kind of callbacks, you know, in the first few scenes, to the, you know, video game kind of, you know, in episode 6, where it is literally like a video game. It's like a lot of those games, the way that it's done is done like a video game, and there's references to stuff like that the whole way through, and including some of the Japanese stuff as well, you know, in terms of Seven Samurai and all this kind of sort of great stuff.
I was going to ask you that in your research, like, or not research, but in looking at all the videos behind the scenes and stuff, has no one mentioned that? That reminded me, and I haven't watched them for donkey's years, the Akira Kurosawa films.
Yeah, huge influence.
You could tell that, you know, the hat and the way they moved in some of the fights, it seemed to, and the costume design and of the samurais particularly, like the and I know this was obviously all researched well, but it just reminded me of those Kurosawa films. So that was an influence, was it?
It was, yeah, massive, along with loads of like anime stuff. But as I said, I've never really been into like anime, and like as I said, you know, whilst I did enjoy Arcane, you know, I don't think it's a masterpiece, and I quite like Cyberpunk as well, which again is on Netflix. But I thought that was good. Was a good show. Well done. But yeah, this is the first thing really animated wise I've watched where I've just been like, oh my god. It blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. It's one of the best things I watched last year.
It's definitely, well, what else was anywhere near it? Can anyone say a TV show? What was that? What else was it? What else was there?
Well, you had One Piece, didn't you? I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, top of the chops. That's 2
House of Usher.
Oh yeah, House of Usher.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I must admit, I wasn't on the hogCAST where you discussed that, but I actually thought that was a very impressive.
All Netflix.
Yeah, very, very impressive series actually. Have you seen the amount of episode breakdowns there are on House of Usher now on YouTube as well? It's like the hidden meaning in this and the hidden meaning in that. It's really good.
And Fubar, we can't forget about Fubar.
Oh yeah. Schwarzenegger,
yeah.
I enjoyed Sisu. Sisu was quite good. That was last year.
I tried. Do you know what? I tried that, and I didn't get it. Didn't get what all the fuss was about. Got to say.
I think it was made for under 10 million again, and it's just, you know, one of those kind of classic, you know, because he doesn't really speak the whole way through it. Yeah, it's one of those classic kind of.
Is it post-apocalyptic? I'm just looking at it.
No, set as the Germans are basically exiting. No, it's definitely worth a watch. I think you'll quite like it. It's well done. It's well done. I like the amount of physical effects as well, because obviously so constrained by budget, but a lot of it was physical effects, and I always I could get off a bit on physical effects. If anyone's ever seen my Predator review, Predator, what else? And The
Wednesday
Thing
came out last year.
The Thing.
Was Wednesday last
CC.
year? Was that 2022?
No,
was
Wednesday came
2022.
Oh
out.
wow.
No, but Wednesday was one of the shows that was nominated for an Emmy. For an Emmys.
I thought you were going to say
What are you
enema
trouble
then.
drinking?
talking today.
What are you drinking?
Disney
It's
is gonna
just
win the-
lemonade, I promise.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't watched it, but I was gonna take a look at it because my parents watched the whole thing all the way through and liked it. Beef. You ever heard of? It's
Yeah,
basically two
yeah.
people who are experiencing a really crappy day and
I've
have a
seen
moment
it,
of road
yeah.
rage against each other, and they both
Yeah.
make it their mission
really
to like
good.
destroy each other's lives.
It's really good.
Like,
It's
just
really
random
good.
people.
It's the
It
guy.
is really good. I've seen it. It's really good.
Is it Walking Dead's? What's his name?
Yeah, it's Glenn.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah.
I thought it looked good. I watched the trailer
It
and
is.
I was like, okay, this is a fun concept. Like I could get behind this show.
It was good. It's definitely dark. Definitely dark.
And
But,
it's a whole
it's a
show
comedy.
about road
No, no, no.
rage.
No, it's
Yeah,
it's a comedy. It's a dark
Okay.
comedy, but it's very fun. Like just in what I've seen, and not which isn't a lot, but it looks hilarious. It's two people having shit days. They're not anywhere, in communication with each other. And they are in a parking lot and they have a moment of road rage, like where one of them almost hits the other and the other one flips them off. And then they both decide, I'm going to destroy that person's life. But two
It-
people who happen
It
to have at
escalates.
least, yeah.
I mean,
So-
it's really well done. It escalates and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. But yeah,
I thought the
it's really
concept was
good.
great.
I definitely recommend. Yeah, it was really good. I don't want to tell you too much about it though, because there's quite a few twists and turns, and it's kind of like I can't say too much, but it just escalates throughout the series.
Yeah, it's called Beef. Like,
Get on that,
when you
yeah.
have beef with somebody. So
Yeah.
What have I watched? The Sons one with Michelle Yeoh. I think that's Netflix as well.
the Something Sons.
Something
yeah.
Sons,
Oh, the
Mad Sons, or
Sons
something like
or
that.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I started watching that, but got too distracted, unfortunately. So I've got to go back and start again.
Yeah. It's there's some really good episodes in it. I will warn you, there's some real pacing issues in some of it.
I enjoyed
I
Ted
thought.
Lasso last year.
Who?
Ted Lasso, I
Lasso.
enjoyed.
Well, a lot of people did.
I don't even know
Yeah, I
what
thought it was
is.
all right. I thought it was all right. It's on Apple TV. It's
To us going all mainstream.
I
yeah, it's
know.
Apple TV. He's an
I watched-
American
I watched
football
41.
coach.
I'm
He's
still
Amer-
waiting for the second bloody season of Severance on Apple. So because the first season was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah, really good.
Oh wait, did you guys watch Secession? None of you have
No.
seen
No.
Secession.
No.
Succession. What the Amazon? The
Yeah.
one with Brian Cox?
No. It's on HBO.
Oh,
No,
You've not
I haven't
seen
seen
it.
that one.
No.
I'm really shocked that not one of you guys have seen it.
It might not be
It's-
over yet.
we're
It
talking
is.
about
It ended. It finally ended, and it won the Emmy for best picture or whatever the equivalent of that is in an Emmy. But it's good. It's
What,
like
what about the billionaires?
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
really
did
good.
Start watching it, and do you know what? I couldn't get into it
It's worth the investment. Get into it.
because
It's really good.
my mate Vegas Dave said that, and he's watched it all the way through because we was both watching Billions together, or not together, but at the same.
Yeah.
Sat there, arm around each other.
That's it.
No, but
Watch this
it's
with
a
me, mate.
worthwhile one. I
You're
think
at the
that
same glass.
if I was
I'm
gonna
not kidding you.
take
Tried
like
it.
a
Hey,
high intensity, like leaving you on the edge of your seat for every next episode, and that's a show that does it.
What's it called? Vegas Dave?
Vegas Dave.
Vegas because I've got so many. Well, I say so many. I used to have a load of different Daves, so you have to differentiate. And I
Dave
randomly
1,
met him.
Dave 2.
Vegas. I was going to Vegas with a couple of friends, and he was out there doing he bought into a franchise, a business coaching franchise, but the initiation, like your initial training thing, was in Vegas. So I get a text from him to say, oh yeah, I mean, I've just bought this franchise and I'm in Vegas, baby. And I said, well, I've just landed. And we was there the weekend, so he was starting his thing on Monday. And as you can imagine, I don't know if you're going to be surprised at what I'm going to say next, but we got absolutely wasted that weekend. And he'd spent 50 grand on this franchise, this
Oh
business.
my God.
Turned up the first on the Monday.
Well,
Like,
for a
literally
franchise, that's not
stunk-
bad.
Literally stunk of vodka and Red Bull, and he had to sit there and concentrate.
Another show, again, it's Apple, which
Really?
is excellent. It's called Slow Horses.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh yes, yeah. Oh, what's
Really
his-
good.
I haven't seen that one.
It's got
I'm
Gary Oldman
intrigued.
in it.
I'm intrigued by The Crowded Room. I haven't seen it yet, but that's on Apple. Has anyone seen that yet?
No, I've not seen that.
That's
But
Tom
yeah,
Holland.
I thoroughly recommend Slow Horses as well. Slow Horses is really good.
Yeah, oh, what's his name? I'm good at names, and
Vegas Dave.
who's the leader of it? Who's the head one? Oh,
Gary Oldman.
yes,
Yeah, it's got Kirsten. Is it Kirsten
he's
Stewart in it?
yeah,
Yeah, Kirsten Stewart's in it as well.
Really?
he's absolutely superb in it.
Really,
Basically,
really good.
the setup is it's the Slow Horses are the guys and girls from MI5 that are all a bit. They've all done, like, the main guy. He does something wrong in the first episode, and this is their little office in London.
It's like purgatory for them, basically. So they go from the flash swish nice headquarters to this.
All right, the demoted MI5
yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
It's really good. It's really clever. It's based on a book series.
Okay.
I'm on. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm on. I'm actually on I think book 5 through Audible at the moment of the series. It's really, really good.
You're not listening to the book as you're watching it, are you?
No.
And also, on that subject, have they stuck to the source material? I mean, it's a good show.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, who would have known a popular book series could be turned into a popular TV
I
show
know.
by sticking to the source material?
Like,
I know.
wow.
It's been a really good book series. I'm trying to think what else there was last year, though. I mean, there was a lot of shite, to put it politely, but what was the worst? Come on, then. What was the worst thing you think you watched last year?
Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Worst thing you kind of couldn't watch.
Wait, didn't Velma come out last year too?
Yeah, Velma was out last year.
Velma was pretty bad.
But did you watch it?
2
I watched.
episodes.
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting.
It was so crap. It just really wasn't worth the effort.
I'm sure that there's a niche crowd that is like, this is fantastic, but I think most people are going to watch it and be like, no.
And that is a niche, isn't it?
I don't even know if it's a niche. It's more of a scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody else, not a TV show, but movie, did anybody else watch Nicolas Cage's Dream Scenario?
No.
No, I think I saw adverts for it and I didn't know.
Is the weirdest movie I think I've ever seen.
Really?
Very strange. Very strange. The guy literally starts turning up in people's dreams, initially doing nothing.
Yes, that looked so good.
Starts where he turns up in his daughter's dream.
Wait, that's
and
not
he's just
Keanu
sweeping
Reeves.
leaves. He's
Who is
doing
it?
nothing.
Nicolas
But it
Cage.
escalates.
Nicolas
it
Cage.
escalates.
Yes, it's Nicolas Cage. Okay.
Nicolas Cage, yeah, it escalates to the point where he's murdering people in their dreams. He's doing it's just
not a good.
You get to the end of it, and it's like, that's
Really?
weird. For me, it was.
I thought it looked so good. But so, what was your feeling? Was I if it was great, I want to see it. If it was like
If
just
it
too
wasn't,
weird,
then yeah.
It was weird. I've not seen a movie like it. I can't say it was bad, but I mean,
It was
I watched
such a
the whole
unique
thing.
concept.
I
It was-
stuck to it and I watched the whole thing. So
Yeah.
something obviously hooked. But yeah, watch it. Let me know what you think because I got
Oh
fucking
man.
clue.
Well, I know my family wants to watch it. So, did you see it in theaters? Is it out? Where was it released?
No,
Where
I
was it?
saw it. I saw it somehow.
Okay, I'll find it somehow too.
Illegal streaming because YouTube.
No,
YouTube algorithm is going to pick this. Oh, it's done and now.
you said it, not me.
SJ fucked it straight away, didn't she?
Rode out on a horse called Torrent.
There must be a jingle to that.
It's based on a video game. So in a big video game franchise called Elden Ring. It's from Software, Dark Souls creators.
yeah.
So Elden Ring was like a massive. The horse in that is called Torrent, and there's this very specific reason that they called the horse Torrent. So if anyone put in Elden Ring Torrent, it would come up with pictures of the horse rather than anything else. So yeah, rode out on a horse called Torrent.
But that was last year. But
Yes.
what's there to look forward to? Does anyone? I mean, we spoke about.
War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Someone in Tayters. What do you know?
Oh, what do you mean? What do I know? What does anybody who's read Lord of the Rings know? It's all there. Well, I mean, from what I can, from what I can see from the cast list, they are actually going to follow literally what Tolkien wrote out in the appendices.
And it's animated.
That's animated. Yeah, I don't mind it being animated. Again, it's gonna be an anime style. It is the guy that did Ghost in a Shell and Akira.
Oh wow.
So you know he's got some backing. The other thing, executive producer is going to be Philippa Boyens. So she wrote the original scripts for Lord of the Rings with Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh. So
there's a lot of ticks here.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And again, just looking at the cast list and looking at the names of the people they've cast, it looks like they are going to follow what Tolkien put down. It is just like, no, this is Helm's lifeline. This is going from the end of the first line into the second line of Kings. Yeah. So my initial response
are we
is
going to see
actually
another
this
battle
looks
of Helm's
fucking good.
Deep?
Eh?
Are we going to see another battle of Helm's Deep then?
Well, no. If they follow what Tolkien wrote down, you're going to follow Helm's life from when he became the king, because he was the 9th king of the first line of Rohan.
This is like the past. You're not going to be seeing
this is the past.
Aragorn and all those. So you'll probably see Helm. Maybe I have not
the
read
building
Riders
of Helm's
Rohirrim,
Deep, maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe them building Helm's Deep. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or another instance when it was used, perhaps.
The whole story of Helm is pretty much, how he got his legendary name Hammerhand, because he didn't use weapons. He's literally Hammerhand. He would beat people to death. I'm trying to think. But yeah, where we were in Lord of the Rings, that was Theoden. So that was the last king of the second line. You had a lot of kings in the timeline. So yeah, we're way back.
Do you reckon we'll see the architect who designed that drain at the bottom? Do you reckon we'll see
He'll be like, we really need this drain. I just know.
scratching his head and his balls thinking, where are we going to put this drain?
Yeah. Well, gunpowder ain't been invented yet, so we're good.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Gladriel, do you reckon?
No. No.
There's rumours that the cast have all been fired, isn't there?
What, from War of the Rohirrim?
From Rings of Power.
Oh, sorry, Rings of Power. Oh, nobody cares about that.
Wait, what happened with the second? The cast was all fired?
Yeah, the whole cast apparently has been
They're doing
sacked.
it with animals now.
Wait, you're not joking. That's real.
I'm not joking. No, I'm not joking. No.
They've already filmed season 2, though, right? Season 2 should already be in post-production.
Should be in the
So they filmed
Octophage.
season 2 and then they fired everybody.
I think so, yeah.
Season 2 is going to be good, isn't it?
What a mess. They could all, it's almost like they could all be working for Dismal Minus, to be fair.
I know, but it's so good for content.
Yes.
Well, that was the other plus point about War of the Rohirrim. It's got nothing to do with Amazon. Trailers isn't anywhere near it.
Who's doing that then? Not Amazon. Who's doing it?
Production company. I don't know. I didn't get that far. I was
on Apple or Amazon. It's not going to be on Amazon. Who's going to be on? Where's it going to be? Netflix or?
I thought it was coming out to cinemas. I thought they were aiming for a cinema release.
All right. Oh, it's just
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they want a theatre release.
I need to find out about if they've sacked all the casts. Well, I hope they haven't sacked the horse.
I don't know, but they killed one off, didn't they? During supposedly during the filming of
one was
started a fire, killed
read
one
the
off.
script, and had a heart attack, I think.
Couldn't
Warner
take it.
Brothers and New Line.
I couldn't get through it. I couldn't. I think I started. Did I do an episode 1?
I'm sure though, Amber, they're going for a cinema release. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it.
it's not
let
going
me
to
see.
stream.
I think you got a couple of episodes in, but we may took the piss out of it on the
Yeah.
hogCasts.
Yeah,
You started doing your
Release
theatre
date is
impressions.
December 13th. I don't see episodes listed, so it looks like it's a film.
It's a movie.
Oh, wow.
I'll be interesting.
And Hog, yes, you did watch a few episodes of Rings of Power. I
No.
think you got 3 episodes deep and then you quit.
Yeah, same as me.
We only watched it really for Elrond's hair. That was it. Beyond that,
Oh, we did have a quit.
And your amazing theatre impressions.
Elrond of L'Oreal.
Is it House of the Dragon season 2? Should be.
That's this
Should
year,
be.
yeah.
Should be.
That's this year.
I'm a little bit there with that.
I know. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I liked
thought
it,
it was
but
good.
it was missing something. There was something in it not quite.
Well, it was your intro, wasn't it? It was the story was just to get going, then you've got to wait 2 years to get the rest of it.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
That they could have condensed that down into much less episodes. That could have
I
been
think
easily
that's probably right.
5 or 6 episodes easily. Just get your key points. I mean, the episode when the king went was awesome.
Yeah.
And then and you know it's then going to kick off. So season 2, I've got high hopes for.
It definitely had a great cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah,
Like I was pissed off. I was like, "You're ending it now?" The one time that I'm going, "Yes, I really want to know what happens now." So yeah, I think you nailed it.
and if people know anything about the history,
I do.
Yeah, so
Anya, trust me, it really starts to kick off now.
it's
Yay.
going to kick off big time. Big time. So yeah, I'm
excited.
looking
I have to
forward to
go
that
back
one.
and get through season 1. I've forgotten all about that.
Yeah, I'll probably do a rewatch too.
Yeah.
I think I stopped as well. I think Rings of Power was just pissing me off with fantasy. I don't know. I think I watched.
Well, think about what we
Rings
had.
of
We had-
Power was just a letdown on every single level. There was
There was Willow, Rings of Power, The Witcher, Origin, whatever the hell that was. What else did we get? There was another one, wasn't there?
Willow was funny.
It wasn't a good year for fantasy TV.
Oh,
Willow was
wasn't.
funny.
Blood-
Willow was
Blood
funny.
Origins?
You're like,
The Witcher.
Witcher.
Origins.
Yeah.
Blood Origins. Oh,
And there was something else though, wasn't there? Wasn't there something else? Another fantasy? Oh, Wheel of Time, I guess.
Wheel of
oh
Time.
God, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Series 2.
gosh.
Did you see it?
If you could call it that.
I've been reviewing all of them.
Yeah,
They're all-
That's a chore now, though, isn't it, Amber? That's a chore.
It is.
Yes.
It's a chore.
I refused after that. I think it was the second episode of series 2 that I was like, no, I'm not going to put myself through this. I love those books, and I'm just not putting myself through it.
It
Yeah,
becomes a problem when not only is it not following the source material, which is going to piss off all the fans, but it's also not following its own lore or explaining itself as it goes. It's just making mistakes as far as an adaptation and as just entertainment. And that's just,
Are we talking Wheel of Time or Rings of Power now? Because
Well,
that
you know what?
sounds very same.
Well, Rings of Power was based off of
of notes.
the title card, Lord of the Rings.
That's it. Yeah,
That was
literally.
it.
Yeah.
Inspired by,
There's a wizard, and his name is Gandalf, but we could easily mistake him for Sauron at some point.
Yeah.
Which no one was fooled with. Everyone knew it was bloody Hellbrand. It's just awful.
yeah. Again, with Wheel of Time, everyone was whinging. I'd never read the books, but everyone was whinging straight away before episode 1, season 1 come out, saying, "Why have they done this?" And I was thinking, well, here we go again. But I tried watching it just as a piece
A
of
TV show.
fantasy. and my God, it was useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely useless. It was like, oh,
I'm going to watch your reviews now, though, Anya, as I gave up after episode 2, just to.
everyone's watching Amber's reviews of series 2 instead of watching the show.
Yeah, instead
Watching
of
the show,
watching.
yeah.
I get
Yeah.
so much of that. Most of my well, not most, but a large percentage of my commenters is like, I don't even watch the show anymore. I just watch your reviews because you tell us everything that happens and why we would have hated it. Like, I'm not trying to create hate. I'm just trying to explain to people why I hate it. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got to try and have fun with it though. Because
Yeah, you got to try. I mean, I had some fun with Willow.
yeah, at least before I was having fun with this show. Willow, yes. I kind of wish Willow was around because I could have fun with all the problems in that.
Yeah.
This has gotten to the point though that's not fun anymore. So
Yeah, that's how
maybe
it's for me now with the Marvel stuff, like 5 episodes of Echo, 1 video, done.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't
What-
do
What? So I've only seen episode 1 of Echo, and I
Yeah.
was done. And I was done as soon as I just wanted to see what happens with Daredevil, just to
It
see
gets
how
worse.
much is it.
That
And
fucking fight scene. That fight scene was
Did-
terrible.
did you notice
Oh
the
my
bit when he's
God.
sort of, it looks like he's being pulled up by wires when he's on the floor. So just after he jumps over the fence, and it looks like he's been sort of.
Yeah.
It's almost like they
Nothing.
filmed it. It's almost like they filmed him going to the floor. They filmed him standing up, but missed the bit where he got up. So they've just sort of CGI'd it. It's
Oh.
weird. It's so weird.
But the editing as well, every time she's in a fight, you can see them pulling their punches. You can see that they're waiting,
As well,
basically.
the fighting style's all wrong. She's going in like this brawler, and
I
don't get
know,
me
she's
wrong.
what, 5 foot nothing again?
Yeah,
Why is it always 5 foot nothing?
Got a fake foot.
but surely her attributes should be the fact she's highly skilled, is very fast, and is very technical. That's why she wins these fights.
Well-
She's going in like she's a 6'5" burly bloke trying to throw like powerhouse shots all the time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem right.
Again, they have ignored the source material, which is very cool. So she's the opposite of Daredevil, right? Which is why really she should have been. Why they plonked her in Hawkeye? I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially,
that's
especially
my
when
other
they're going
complaint.
to spend most of the first episode bloody going through the story from bloody Hawkeye.
Yeah, a lot of that was literally scenes just taken directly from Hawkeye.
So
That's about half the episode was scenes just taken directly from Hawkeye.
Well, you need a recap, otherwise people won't know where they are.
Okay, do it as a recap. Don't do it as your first episode.
No.
It
You
was
see,
horrendous.
this is why you don't
But-
work for Disney.
But then again, like the timeline of it as well. So like when Fisk is sitting down and talking to her at the table, saying no one's gone toe to toe with Daredevil like you have. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, what about Bullseye? Like, where's this set? Like, what's going on? It just doesn't make sense. It's terrible.
when
But yeah,
first
got to
see-
the end of the episode, I wasn't happy, so I'm not doing it anymore.
in
I'm
the
done with this.
they could have made it so much more cool if they'd have just stuck to it, which is where you learn how she uses her sight instead of her hearing to mimic anything she sees.
Hmm.
So she can mimic the best. I think I said this last time. The power is really cool in that they done it in the comics. So as she's growing up, she can mimic. And it's all in the arts up until
Yeah.
she gets older, and then she mimics the boxers. There's a couple of pages where it's narrated, like, so it's her thinking about it, and she says, "Well, I'm only small." Cool. So she says, "I've mimicked the," and it's 3 boxers. So she mimics, like, I don't know, Leonard, whatever his name was back in the day, and the punching style of Muhammad Ali and the something of De La Hoya, right? 3 boxers she just references as to how she can use their different techniques for someone of her stature.
Yeah.
Small girl who can't hear, but like Daredevil's hearing's amplified, so it's her sight that mimics. When she has her first fight with Daredevil, because Kingpin has convinced her that it was Daredevil that murdered her dad.
Yeah.
Very Machiavellian way, right? Also cool. all this is really cool stuff that rolls out of these issues. Like I've said, they could have just used it as almost a storyboard. It's such a cool origin, and where she's kind of like the opposite, where they're kind of like these characters, the yin and the yang of each other. When she has the first fight with Daredevil, she is pummeling him because she's mimicked Bullseye. She's checked out Bullseye. Where she's in Kingpin's kind of crime thing, she's picked up how Bullseye fights.
Yeah.
Daredevil only realizes this halfway through the first fight. He's going, hold on a minute. She's copying that's my move.
Yeah.
And she's laying him out again, and he's going, hold on a minute. That was Bullseye's move. And that's the moment of realization where she's got a right cool set of abilities that it's going to take Daredevil a bit of thinking about.
And that's why she was called Echo.
I thought it's done so nicely.
She should have been called Leadfoot in this one.
And I'm guessing from the rest of the show they don't play into that at all.
No.
Not at all. Not.
No,
she's just.
They don't touch it. They don't touch any of. Who was the
And-
other character that had that skill as well?
Do they respect Fisk at all?
Was it Marksman? Marksman was the other
Who
one.
could
was
copy
it?
everybody? Taskmaster.
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 Could
That's
copy
it.
everybody's skills. Yeah.
Do they respect Fisk at all?
Oh yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. I think he got neutered.
Oh,
He's a blubbering wreck of a man at the end of the last episode.
really?
Yeah.
Echo's turned him. That's Kingpin of crime.
Wow.
But you see,
Hey-ho.
you see D'Onofrio, like you see the old Kingpin, like the character that he helped bring to the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash of it, and then he's gone again. You think, oh bollocks! Like, you know, the villain to get you.
Mm.
Oh,
So there's no redeeming qualities to the other episodes at all.
there is nothing.
Absolutely not.
Everyone is saying.
I would say it's as bad as She-Hulk.
Yeah,
Really?
Wow.
it's getting there, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
No, so I would disagree. I would disagree that it's as bad as She-Hulk, because She-Hulk had at least one good episode, and then the rest of it was shit. Echo's got nothing.
Did it?
Did She-Hulk have a good episode?
The first episode was good.
Was it? Oh no,
Yeah.
we've had this row before. It
It's
wasn't.
not Ralph, you're wrong.
I was trying to like it actually. When I reviewed it, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
I was having a row with you.
Yeah, stupid man. And I was looking forward to Echo again. They get me every time. It's like with Daredevil Born Again now, right? And they've got the old gang back now, haven't they? They've got Karen and back from the Netflix show.
Yep.
Right. So I'm thinking, dare I get my hopes up? And I'm thinking, yeah, I can't help myself because I keep thinking, I want it to be good. And I bet this is the show that I think is going to be no good and it's going to be great. But I think that every time.
Yeah.
Time it's shit. And I don't know if this is going to be the one.
But
You've turned around in a few hogcasts, because it was only a few hogcasts ago. You're like, yeah, they got the right team. They got the Netflix team back. Now you're back down, and
Yeah, because Echo's just come out.
yeah, I know, but
yeah.
And they showed
And they can't stage a fight scene to save their lives.
but Echo would have been done by then as well, wouldn't it? Echo,
And-
when you were talking about that.
So what are you saying, Taters? Keep a stiff upper lip.
Yeah, all right.
My hopes up.
But Daredevil's not going to be what we want it to be. We know that already. We know that already.
Well, as
It's
long
not
as the
gonna be.
fight choreographer isn't the one from Echo, then we're fine.
Well, looking what they've done to Kingpin. Look what they're going
Or
to
Ahsoka.
punish.
Or Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Punish him. This is as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Punishers in Daredevil.
Look what they're going to do to him. If they just do that to Kingpin, who's the main villain for the whole street level characters, what are they going to do to the Punisher?
Don't.
He's going to be out picking flowers and
No.
getting
He's-
kids out of the tree.
No.
And...
Coming inside.
He's going to have a flower on his bulletproof vest instead of a skull, isn't he?
Yeah. Either that or we'll just end up. No, they won't make it. Well, they might just make him a woman.
Change his name.
Trans. Yeah,
He'll change his name. He won't be the Punisher anymore.
he's Frankie Castle.
Francine Castle.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
We're joking. They would just don't give them ideas.
You know what?
I can imagine Bob Iger sitting there going, "Oh, actually, this is pretty good."
Don't say that.
You know what's interesting, and I just thought about this. You've got Disney doing, Marvel, so the superheroes, and Star Wars, and then you've got Amazon Prime doing the big epic fantasies, right? Okay, I guess HBO is doing the House of the Dragon. But we were talking about how Netflix is putting out some winners lately. They're doing the one-off oddball ones, like Wednesday and One Piece. Like, they're taking the risk, doing the one thing. I think there is more to say maybe about burnout in some of these genres than perhaps, and I do think that it's possible to create a good show. Like, obviously the new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, is a huge hit, right?
Yeah.
Because it was well done.
That word risk you just said.
Yeah.
Risk embracing these mad characters. And One Piece, I think, is what is the thing I was watching, and I just thought they have not shied away from 1 inch of any of these characters. How bizarre, like the clown with in bits and
The clown was one of my favorite characters. Yeah. I've learned so many great new swear words from it.
And they just they did not falter from they weren't embarrassed. It's like Disney are embarrassed with all the franchises they've got. They don't know what to. It comes across that they're embarrassed about a superhero character. Like, don't be embarrassed. Just come on,
do it. Yeah,
it's mad.
Probably.
I don't even think. Do you know what? I think at this point, everyone can see from some of the directors that they've had involved with some of these projects to who've done actually reasonably sort of decent work in the past, etc., etc. I think it is just everything goes to this DEI lens.
Yeah. The
I think that's wrong. The story has to be the priority.
Yeah.
Going back to Bob Iger's speech at the Dealbook Summit, this is what he said. We're going to buckle down. We're going to not do this. We're not going to do the messaging. We're going to steer away from that, and we're going to do quality over quantity.
When was that announcement?
It was the Dealbook Summit. It was where Elon Musk got on Bob Iger's back. It was only a couple of months ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I remembered.
November, was it? Yeah.
I remembered there being a meeting with the shareholders at Disney where they had this discussion about their epic, what are they called, the feature films that they were putting out, because they were seeing that they were losing audiences slowly, that it was going downhill, and they said we need to refocus on making sure that we're doing fun family movies. But that was years ago, and they did not course correct. So I don't know, maybe it was a change in leadership that prevented that change from happening, but I don't know. I have very little faith in a company that is as cemented in its beachfront properties as Disney is. I don't know if they're capable. I mean, it's like asking a cruise ship to, dodge that iceberg. It might be too late,
Ringing the bell. Oh wow.
I think course correcting is going to be really, really slow process at this point. Like, I thought for sure after the first 3 Star Wars, the Star Wars movies with Rey, it's like there's no way they're going to make that mistake again. They put out Mandalorian, fantastic, but nothing else. So nothing else of quality. I mean, so the course correcting is not automatic. There's too many people that are locked in place.
Yeah.
Well, if the rumors are to be believed, even Kathleen Kennedy is now banging heads with this Charmaine Chenoy.
Like, she's even more extreme?
No, she's actually now. I've got a feeling she's had her reins pulled in, and she's been told.
Well,
I can only go by what rumor is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just.
I thought we were
rumor.
talking about the
Rumor is-
person who said I like to upset men or whatever.
That's that Charmaine Shinoy.
Okay, so Kathleen Kennedy is having. She's being
Problems
reined
with her.
in.
Yeah. So she went to Kathleen Kennedy to try and fight her case for her 35% wage reduction, and Kathleen Kennedy's basically gone no.
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy's contract's up this year, isn't it? Apparently, it's not been renewed. It's not going to be renewed.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh no.
We can only hope.
No, it is. It's definitely up. It's towards the end of the year, but yeah, contract's up.
Fantastic. See?
Because I think
There's something good in 2024.
I think I don't think she's going to go.
But I just want to say,
I think it's such a
regardless
huge
of,
mistake to be these long ass contracts that go way out. I
Yeah.
know they're like, oh my gosh, like if this is a hit, we want to nail you down for all of this. But then you get stuck in this situation, which has been most like Wheel of Time. They've been producing their next seasons before releasing the previous ones. So like they started filming season 2 before season 1 was released. And
Yeah.
before season 2 was released, they were filming, like they were almost done filming season 3.
Yeah, because
they're
feedback don't matter
contracted.
anymore.
No.
Feedback don't matter, and course corrections don't matter. We'll just.
but
They were
in terms of
contracted.
course, but in terms of course correction, though, if you're sitting there at the top and you go, okay, the first like the trilogy of Star Wars movies, they come out, they get panned. Then you go for the next one, comes out, gets panned. How I get it is a lot of moving pieces and a lot of people are locked in. Same with Marvel as well. But you can't just keep throwing money. At some point, you've got to go, stop everything. Right, these are the orders. You follow them or you're out. And it has to be done. And it has to be done immediately because really they should have course corrected. And that we've gone through 3 years of shit now. They should have course corrected a year ago.
Yeah,
at least.
I think in terms of Disney, Liz, I think we are literally right there.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? You would have thought.
Bloody hope so.
You know, no one wants to. They know listen.
Did anyone watch? Is it Godzilla -1? Because I've obviously missed a couple of hogcasts.
Keep hearing it's good. Keep hearing it's
No,
good.
I keep meaning to watch the TV show as well.
It is freaking awesome.
That's what I keep hearing. Tell us why
Really,
it's awesome.
really good. Emotional storytelling. I think it's the first time I've watched a monster movie where I actually gave a shit about the humans in it. I'm serious. I am serious. And it's a really well told story. It doesn't shy away from anything. It's very emotional. There were people that you would not be expected at the end of that movie who were coming out going, is it raining in here? Is it raining in here?
Does it have Godzilla
really good. Really good.
Has it got Godzilla in it? Is that what you asked?
Godzuki.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
It hasn't got Godzuki in it.
Oh,
But
Barney?
considering how much it was made for, and considering it's done in a kind of older Godzilla style, it's still believable, if you know what I mean. It's mental.
Who is it? Altieri or Altaori? I don't know how to she's like a TMZ person who has her own YouTube channel and a voice, like a tiny voice, but she's sometimes nails it. She loves that franchise, the Godzilla franchise, and she said this is definitely the best one. And one thing that what they did was interesting is they made their Godzilla monsters smaller, and that made them scarier because now it's sort of, think about like the dinosaurs coming after the kids in the kitchen in Jurassic Park. Like it's harder to hide from something that could go in the same small spaces that a human can crawl into. So that added a new level of fear to this whole thing. So, and
the perspective as well. So the fantastic perspective that they use through a lot of the, you know, smash and crash scenes, in terms of it was all done from kind of eye level, the perspective.
So you feel like you're always looking up or seeing something big happening, and like and also you put yourself in the position of the people that are obviously running and screaming, etc., getting killed. So and if you actually do it on that level, in terms of technically, it really puts you in that kind of moment, and it actually makes it scary.
Nice.
Because usually if you think like monster movies, it's all done from like back, isn't it? And so you can see the
Yeah,
whole
to show you how
monster
big the monster is. Yeah,
yeah, and the damage that it's doing. But most of it is actually shot from the kind of like human perspective. It's
guys
a
remember
really
Drive?
honestly, if you get the chance, if it comes out at a cinema
I
near
can't
you, because
believe
it's been kind of re-released for a few weekends at different cinemas.
I can't
I think it's
believe how
cost
many
100
Godzilla
million now.
movies.
But
I
it's
can't believe
so
how
good.
many Godzilla movies there's been recently. So you got the -1, you've got that Monarch TV show on Apple,
Yeah, I
and
did
then
like that.
and then you've got the Godzilla and Kong again this year as well.
Yeah.
It's just there's loads.
But yeah.
Godzilla's having the time of his life right now. It's
Did
getting right left,
Godzilla
right, and
go
center.
3.
Public domain or something?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, must.
Possibly.
But
Did you
yeah,
guys-
-1, definitely. Go do it. If you
Cool.
get the
We'll get on
opportunity.
that.
I read somewhere the other day that that Batman will enter the public domain in 5 or 6 years' time,
No
Wow.
way.
and I don't know how that works out. I don't know how. I thought if you're still publishing him and you own, I don't know how that works.
Mickey Mouse, isn't it? Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse is this year, I think.
She's on
Something.
Willie. She's done it.
Hang on, sorry, say that again. What's happening with Steamboat Willie?
Steamboat
Well, that's his
Willie's-
name, isn't it? Steamboat
Yeah.
Willie.
Yeah, but what's
The
happening
original
with it?
version.
Saying Willie.
It goes into the public domain.
Yeah.
Oh right, I thought you were saying like doing like a live action adaptation
No,
of it or something. It was just like
you've already got people planning like horror movies.
Like
live
so
action
funny.
Steamboat Willie. all I want from Disney, in all honesty, is remake
Plot,
Bedknobs and
writing,
Broomsticks,
good characterization.
but only the just remake Bedknobs and Broomsticks, but only the animated part. Update the animated part and leave the live action part as was.
Oh, you mean so like just like fix the animated part?
Yeah.
So keep this original
Make
footage.
the animated more modern. I want to see that. I don't know if it would be any good, but I just want to see it.
Why didn't you like the old one?
I know I love it, but I want to see an updated version of that.
if you love it,
I remember going to see that at the cinema as a kid. Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
don't let them touch it. If you love it, that film, don't wish that on yourself.
That film's there. That film is there. That film's never going anywhere. I just want to see what it looked like with some live action, well, not live action, but updated
I can tell you.
animals.
Updated cartoon animals.
Yeah.
I wanted them to do it for Willow, like like Star Wars and Willow and all these movies. I'm like, I want some real VFX artists to go in there and clean it up to make it look really, really good. So maybe like there's some times in like the A New Hope where you can see the ships turning and the camera's not as smooth. Smooth it out, make it maybe have a push in with the camera so it looks like they're coming towards the camera more. I think it'd be such a fun project to do, and that they can do it. I've been watching VFX guys, I forget what their channel is, but they're taking like Jurassic Park and they're redoing the CGI dinosaurs, which looked great already, but they're doing it again, and I'm going, I can't, like they're fixing what was already really good and it looks really good now. So I would love to see that kind of thing done.
Just updated.
I want Island at the Top of the World to have the soundtrack remastered. Well, not remastered, re-recorded. I just want the whole thing redone. Like, I love that soundtrack. I know it's like an old one, but I love it.
New.
Huh?
New. Original.
You want to see something
the thing
new?
is, we do see something new, and it's shit.
Yeah.
Majority of the time.
Yeah, shame, isn't it? It's like if you want the animation updated by Disney, and you take a look at what they did to the animated Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I was talking. What was it you were talking before about Lion King and the Timon and Pumbaa characters? And
that just looked like that looked like a David Attenborough documentary. That did.
There we go.
I thought they'd done a great job of that, but
oh,
have you ever seen the one where they took moments of the Lion King and they said, what if we made the faces a little bit more caricatured, like more like the cartoon, right? And it looks so much better. And it doesn't look hyper realistic, but there's emotion now on the faces of these characters. My brother went to see it in theaters, and when he came back, he's like, I wish I didn't see that. I'm like, why? He's like, because it's just like you know the scene in the where there's the stampede and Mufasa dies, and you see Simba at the top of the cliff looking down, and he goes, no, like that. He's like, but now it just looks like a cat standing there going, no. I was like, that's probably the perfect way to describe, yeah. The facial expressions are lost. There's something, and I was going to mention this when we were talking about Blue-Eyed Samurai. I think that's one thing that I miss about 2D animation, and that a lot of the CG enhanced animation is still not quite getting. I have to look more at what was the one, the Spider-Man Miles Morales one, but the exaggeration of facial expressions. Like if you slow down The Little Mermaid, for example, the original animation, when the shark, when what's his face, the little fish, Flounder is going, you big bully, and gives him a raspberry, and the shark snaps at him. His eyes become like ginormous, and then he stretches to like look like an eel as he like swims away. And there's something that we respond to about that exaggeration. And Walt Disney was the one who really taught that to his animators and said, you need to get this this exaggeration. You can't, and it can't be like noodle arms all the time, because that was a big issue in the very beginning that he didn't like. He's like, you need it in the faces. There's got to be elasticity so that we are seeing the exaggeration of the expressions. That is what will stand out to us and resonate with us at the same time. And I think that we miss that in some of these CG enhanced animations, is that it's not quite reached that level. I think it's actually probably there, but it's not done often, where we see that stretching, because they're fixed on a form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. I slightly disagree about Blue-Eyed Samurai. I did think they did that really, really well in terms of characterization and emotion, and
they did.
Yeah, because for me personally, because you didn't feel like you were watching. You got so sucked in, I think, because by all of the elements working together. Especially the way that they then 2D'd, obviously, facial expressions and things onto the characters, even though it was originally like 3D models, they did actually 2D artwork the rest on. And I think that's where you're absolutely right. 2D does come into its own, and that those characters would not have been as expressive if it had been all three, sort of CGI 3D modeling. It takes that kind of hand 2D animation to actually, really kind of draw you in.
I think there's been so much push for let's please have a 2D animated video or a movie again. It's very expensive, takes a very long time. It's a big risk. There's got to be a way to be able to bring it back.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? You'd think that there would be some. I'm surprised there's not some kind of digital software that makes it look like old 2D animation. Do you know what I mean?
There is. It's just not being used.
Yeah. So you've got to draw cells, and then do another cell. They've slightly moved.
I know that it exists. You just don't see big budget movies doing it.
But
because they're like, it's either.
It's better. I mean, Dawn of the Nugget.
Oh, yes. Film of the year.
Which one?
And Dawn of the Nugget.
Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
Chicken Run sequel. Aardman
Film of the year.
Aardman Animation did that all old school. They still have the plasticine figures.
Is it good? Because I loved the first movie, but I was thinking, do I watch this?
That was our Christmas. That was our.
I think we were having a bit of a drink though as well. So
that was our Christmas do. That was Chicken Run, Dawn of the
Nugget.
Oh
my gosh, I did not even hear about this. My family loves Chicken Run. Is this like it's a sequel?
It's good.
And it's good?
It's good.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay, I gotta see it.
Like Tater said, there was a couple.
there was a little bit of alcohol
just a few, full of beer and curry. It was awesome.
We wouldn't. I don't think we would have needed that to take us through, you know.
Well, the worst thing was though, we needed snacks halfway through, so we put some chicken on. That was the worst thing. We put some chicken.
You guys went to the theater to go see it?
No, it was our Christmas. It was our annual Christmas get together.
Oh, okay.
That was our movie of the night.
Are you guys going to go see Dune together?
Yeah, I need to go and see that. I need
It's
to go and see it.
I think we would if we was nearer to each other,
Yeah,
and two scheduling conflicts didn't. Well,
I'm
not
just
so
keep
much
going on
now.
holiday.
Now Liz has changed space bases, and he's got more sociable hours. But them two used to have different shifts that didn't coordinate. So getting them. So now I'll probably see June with my son. We can't wait. We saw the first one in IMAX as well.
Same.
Sure, I'm
That's
sure
the
me
Yeah,
and
best way to
Taters will
see it.
go.
Yeah, I
Highly
did.
recommend.
The screen was as big as you like, and yeah. And our only
Yeah.
being, I think it was Amber. Was it you that said when you got to the end of was it not Game of Thrones, the other one,
House
And-
of the Dragon.
the House of Dragon? You was pissed off.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, what the
what
hell?
for?
Now it's really interesting.
We was the same with June. Turned
Yeah.
around to my son and I said, "What do you think?" And he went, "Oh, I've got the ump." I said, "What? Really?" He went,
Part
"Yeah."
one.
I could have watched the
Another
second
one.
one now. Like, I could have
Yeah.
had that intermission, go for a wee, come back, put number 2 on.
That was my mom also. She was like, I didn't like it that much. I'm like, what do you, how? Like, what was it about? My mom's usually like weird about that sort of thing. Like, she's like, no, it was really good quality, but like, I wanted the second part. They only gave us the first part. Like, so that's why you didn't like it? And she's like, well, yeah.
Do you think he's going to expand it into a part 3?
No,
Oh, I bloody hope
Or
not.
just be part 2?
no,
I
there's
think
not
it'll just be
enough.
part 2. Yeah.
2. I think someone did originally. I don't know if it was him that said he needed 3 films. Someone did say
No, it was
3 films for the first book. Or
It was the
that back in
guy.
time?
There's a guy who wrote a screenplay and I think a bunch of storyboards for Dune as
but
3 films.
But what I'm saying is, if this June part 2 goes down really well, which I hope it does, I can't see it not. Do you think he's going to move on to the next books and just keep going with it?
Like Children of Dune.
Yeah, I hope so. But the 2 and 3 would need 1 film each. The second book.
June 2.
June.
Revenge.
Yeah. No, is it the second book, Children of?
Yeah, I think
Children
it's
of
Children of
Dune, yeah.
Dune. I watched the original, recently.
Oh, what?
With
David
Sting.
Lynch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Sting in it.
With
yeah.
his wing underwear. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, that's the bit you remember, Amber. Is it Sting?
I've seen the original several times. Actually, the first time I watched it, I hated it. I said, what the hell? Like, it was so hard for me to follow what was going on. And then I found out that there was the director's cut where it was way longer, but had a much longer prologue where everything was explained, who the Bene Gesserit were, who the guild were, and like the empire, the setup, everything was going on. Like, oh, now I
Now I get it.
understand and I can enjoy this story. And I did. I think that to me was like, yeah, you have to have the right setup. And for Denis Villeneuve to do it the way that he did, to avoid the big info dump at the front and still keep people like, you can still figure out what is happening. That was really smart. He spent a lot of time on Caladan in the beginning to make sure that everybody knew what was going on. And that's important, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's also a point of the audience knows. People that are going to watch Dune, they know.
They understood it.
Mm.
Well, I showed it to somebody who had never seen it or heard it or read it before. A friend of mine, and he was like, I can't believe I never heard of the, thought to go see this movie. I had no idea it was so good. Like, this was like one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I was like, I know, like, it's a really great story. And he was just so intrigued with all of the palace drama, I guess you could say, that was happening as well. It was fascinating to him. So for him to be able to watch it and understand it on a first viewing,
Yeah.
it means that it was very well narrated. It was very, the narrative was very clear without being explicit.
Yeah.
I watched part 1 again today, so
Did you?
Wow.
yeah, I'm gearing up ready for part 2. Yeah. I'll watch it a few times before part 2 comes out.
Yeah, you know, it'll be an obvious thing to do books 2 and 3, wouldn't it? If this one goes down as well as.
Well, the thing is this, is you've got to, the quality of the story has to increase. It has to get better and better and better. If it doesn't, you're going to get audiences saying, as not as good as the original, and that's never good for a franchise. And so I think it would be smart to not do that, but maybe do what the Sci-Fi Channel attempted to do in the past, which was turn it into a mini series. I could see Children of Dune being redone as a mini series, like take it seriously, like House of Dragon or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't see it maybe being condensed into just one more film. The next 2 books.
Take the next 2 and put them in one story, like one.
See, maybe that like the complete revert, because the first one is dense, and then the second.
Yeah.
The second, is it Children of Dune? The second one.
Yeah, Children of Dune is the second one, but the first one though, this has so much of just people sitting having conversations, and you didn't get that a lot in the movie. Like what we saw in the movie was so abbreviated even from the book, and yet it still took a whole movie for it to be told to us. They used different means of communicating information to the audience other than people just sitting there and talking about. Like nobody in the whole movie said plans within plans within plans, which is said, I don't know, I think at least 4 times in the book, because they're all sitting there talking about their plans all the time. And that didn't happen. They focused on just the most important things, and then they found other ways to convey the severity of the situation or who people were. So I felt like it was done really well. It wasn't one for one. Like hell, Dr. Kynes is supposed to be what's his face, the chief of the siege. What's his name? Come on, Taters, you just watched this today. Who is the guy who played Shigar? Come on.
I'm trying to guess the name of the actor.
The name of the act? No, come on. The guy who spat on the table.
Oh, Jesus.
What's his name?
I forget his fucking name.
I'm not good with names.
No, well, we know that.
He's basically like the leader of the Fremen guys. Yes,
that's it. Yeah.
He and the doctor, the black
I
lady
know
who
his
comes
name.
in to watch the change happen. That's supposed to be the same person. In this, it's the same person.
Oh,
But
really?
they split it into 2 separate people. I think it was smart. Like, so he's taking a lot of liberties, but he's doing things in order to make it easier for the audience to understand. To differentiate between these 2 roles. Like, this wasn't the chief of the Fremen who's also working for the Emperor somehow and also uninvolved with what's going on, with the entire new family that just moved in is being sabotaged and then hunted down and killed. They said, let's just make it 2 separate people so that we don't have that added confusion. And I think that was a smart choice. And they turned him into a woman. And I was like, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. Like, I didn't care because it was just a tertiary character.
That bloke's name's annoying me.
It's a bit like Lord of the Rings. I can remember when before the first film were coming out, you did have some hardcore purists going.
Oh yeah, because he changed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it not the Gandalf, when he goes to the library, does he not spend decades up there finding out about the One Ring?
Yeah.
In the film, it's
I've got
quite often.
He's up there for half an hour. Yeah.
They took loads out of the book.
But we don't want to see him there for decades, do we?
No.
Because that affects the scene we've just seen, and it rolls on. But you've got to
Well, they also made some little character changes too. I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard them
In a
as
good
being
way.
extreme, but I think that they were done in a good way. I
Mm.
think that they made them more sympathetic and relatable. And I don't think that they were not true to the characters that we had. It was just taking one aspect of them and amplifying it a bit more.
Yeah.
There were some cheesy moments too, like the fake out
Yeah.
death of Aragorn when he gets pulled over the edge or whatever. Like, we didn't need that. There were moments that weren't great. But for the most part, there was very little to complain about. It was emotionally stirring. It hit all of the right notes, and it kept the theme, which was that evil will sometimes be more powerful than we can possibly hope to defeat, but it will inevitably defeat itself.
Yeah.
We should have done a freeze frame right there.
Really.
That would have just been nice.
Actually, you talking that though, saying about the good and evil bit. Did anybody see? There's been a. I'm going back to Lucas now. There's been a recent interview with Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas talking about what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
And she goes into some tirade about, it's the signaling and it's this, it's that. George Lucas just cuts her off and says, no, it's about good and evil. Yeah, that's it.
I think I read that article. That was a while back, though, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It's just sort of come up again recently. But yeah, Lucas just cuts her off mid-sentence. No, it's just about good and evil. That's it. There's no messaging.
I think
it was
people
very funny.
underestimate the timelessness of the story of good and evil. Isn't that how we view our own lives? We are the good battling the evil all around us. I mean, that a-hole boss at work, I'm good, he's evil. Like, people, we frame everything in good and evil. Like, even when we try not to, like, you can't say that they're not good, evil or whatever. Well, they do evil stuff.
Yeah. Even when it's like the shadows within, and I think that's why Tolkien's so strong, because he doesn't kind of shy away from that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the story of Frodo, I've always looked, I know it's supposed to be, this is like somebody who's gone off to war and comes back, and they're a changed person. And I totally see that. I really see is this is a person battling addiction and his friend trying to support him through all of it. And I just, the whole thing is, it's an addiction. He
wouldn't have got anywhere without Tayters.
They wouldn't have. Sam was the hero.
Literally and figuratively.
Actually, though, you say that. Was Sam the hero? Who destroyed the ring?
The ring destroyed itself.
Gollum.
Gollum. Yeah, it's Gollum.
But Sam saved Frodo.
Oh, yeah,
Frodo
absolutely.
was at his lowest
absolutely.
moment.
Absolutely.
So, and he carried him up the mountain.
Yeah. I do love that. I do love that aspect of that
friendship.
Film. Yeah. When you see, I mean, beyond that, even looking at from Frodo's point of view, if you watch that last 30 minutes of that movie, Frodo doesn't ever smile until he's on that boat to Valinor when he's leaving, because he failed his mission. He succumbed to the temptations of the ring and failed his mission. He has a little crack at Sam's wedding. He has a little glint of a smile at Sam's wedding, but he doesn't actually smile.
He smiles when he wakes up and sees everybody alive. I gotcha. He smiles.
After he destroyed the ring.
he smiles when he wakes up in bed and he goes, Gandalf, you're alive.
Watch it. Slow-mo of everyone running.
Watch it again.
He's smiling.
Watch it again.
Well, personally,
I find I'm right. You're wrong. He's smiling. I know this movie, damn it.
It's two white males, and reinforcing the white male patriarchy. So
right. What? Sorry, I've just got to jump on this. Shut up.
Very problematic.
Right. So watch that scene again. The minute Sam walks in that room, you watch Frodo's face.
Wait,
Frodo's face goes.
But he was
deadpan.
Smiling before.
Until Sam walked in the room.
But okay,
the one reminder of the failure.
you're modifying what you were telling me to look at in order to make yourself look better here.
No, no, just
Because
ignore
you
that.
said watch
Ignore
the
that.
movie.
Shush, shush, shush.
He does not smile for the last 30 minutes until he gets on the boat to Valinor. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. He's smiling in the bed. And you're like, no, but when he looks at Sam, he's not. His face goes deadpan.
That's all right.
So-
We can fix that in post.
The half hour starts when he's in bed not smiling.
That's it. From Sam walking in the room. Yeah.
Oh, so from when Sam walks in,
But
and
when
going
Sam walks in the
forward?
room, his face goes deadpan. And for the rest of that play out, he has a little crack at Sam's wedding, and then he actually doesn't smile until he's on the boat.
Okay. Was there an opportunity to smile? Didn't he smile at old man what's his face when he passed him when they were on the horses in the extended edition?
No.
No? Okay.
Not that I remember.
Gonna
I will
get
be
some
checking.
research this weekend, guys, isn't we?
Guess what I'm watching
I'm gonna
tomorrow?
have to have a look now.
Guess what I'm
Yeah.
watching tomorrow?
We're gonna be fast.
Guess what I'm watching when we finish this?
Go on.
What?
Yeah.
You and
I
Am-
watched the last half hour and look.
you and Amber should watch it together. Do one of those reaction videos. You can do
We could. That'd be funny.
watch it together. See?
See, told you.
Speaking of franchises, obviously big year for Alien this year. So there's obviously the series which is coming out, and then you've got the movie as well. So Alien Romulus.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I did not know about that.
You
All
see
about
the
that.
children that they've got in this TV show.
Children?
No.
What?
Is it kids?
The cast. Oh my god, they look like they just walked off of the set of Beverly Hills 90210. Oh god. I don't know what they're going to do with aliens. Like they must be
Is it better or worse than Prometheus?
words.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can't just go by the cast, can I? Really, but
No,
kind of can.
have to see.
You kind of
Yeah.
can. But there's some adults to do it. Like they're about. Oh, they just. You look at these fresh faced, and even putting a bit of. Oh, they just look like they've walked off the Milan catwalk. It's like, really, come on, guys. What are
You
we doing?
ruined my evening, Geeky.
I haven't heard. What have you heard about Romulus then? The film.
Well, it's yeah, there's not a lot come out about it, but I know that the series is obviously set on Earth 70 years in the future to now.
Yeah.
So, and I also I know mainly about the series. So yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of things on Romulus, which it did look quite good, but it's more in the kind of Space Marine vein in terms of aliens than
Director is on that.
Alien. No, I'd have to look it up.
Mm.
I'd have to look it up, but yeah.
When's that's got to be not this year, next year though, isn't it?
I thought it was towards the end of the year unless they push it back, but yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I just found
Yeah.
out we got Shogun, based on
Okay.
the book, is coming out the end of
Yeah.
February.
Okay.
It should be good.
That's with the guy at the John Wick film, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. It looked quite good actually.
Anything else? Come on, Anya. Got the-
Avatar-
TV.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is the big one I'm looking forward to. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be the winner this year.
That's February 22nd, isn't it?
You've got all the kids who watched it as kids are adults with kids of their own. They're going to be thrilled to see it. So you've got adults
Yeah.
watching it. You'll have people who are parents of their kids that the kids made them watch it are going to watch it. It's going to be a hit. I think if it's done faithfully and well, and it is Netflix's biggest production ever. It's their
Okay.
largest. So however big One Piece was, this is bigger. They have the most sophisticated visual effects team like on the planet working on this right now. So they've got all their eggs in this basket. I think One Piece and Wednesday were like they're on a roll, but this was their big one. So I think it's gosh, my fingers are so crossed, but I really think that it sounds like they want to do it faithfully. They want to be faithful. Like there's concern that they're not going to nail the humor of Sokka. Like they're like, Sokka is the funny one, we have to have him be the funny one in the show, but it's got to be a little different from what we saw in the animation because that's not going to translate perfectly. So
Yeah.
how do we nail that? How do we do Sokka's humor in live action? Like these kind of concerns are being addressed at that scale, like the tiny details like that. I think it's a hopeful sign for sure.
Yeah, well, One Piece was the best hopeful sign. I mean, you just don't with Netflix now. I just seem to relax.
And
Yeah.
from what I hear, so
you got One
One
Piece,
Piece,
Blue-Eyed Samurai, now American
Last
Airbender.
Airbender. So American Airbender.
American Airbender.
Say Last American Hero then.
Well, so
I
One
think it
Piece
actually might be
I was-
Arcane as well. Arcane series 2, I think, is this
Oh
year.
yeah, that's
I did-
right.
Yep.
I think so. That'll do well. But so
Oh.
for One Piece, you know how there was all these rumors about Oda they called him like God Oda or whatever, like he was in charge and like nobody was able to do anything unless he approved. Well, from insider information that I have acquired, he was very open to just approving of what people were doing. Like, this is what basically, here's our ideas. What do you think? And he'd be like, well, I think maybe you just haven't quite gotten this one thing right. And then it would go back to Netflix and they would fix it. And he'd be like, there, you got it. It wasn't like him saying, no, do it this way or the highway. He was pointing out the stuff that they needed to do to be more true to the characters and the world that he had created. And Netflix did it. Like they were the ones who said, we're going to do that. At least that is what I have been told. And so that again to me says they've got this interest in doing it justice and doing it right. It wasn't Oda saying, no, I am the king and you can make my show. That was the impression I was getting from all the articles I was reading and things, was that is how it went. We only got One Piece, the excellent show, because Oda was refusing to let them make something that wasn't faithful. But that wasn't the case. It was more like, we want it to be faithful. Here's what we've done. Did we do it right? And he'd be like, yeah. Or actually, you could do like this little thing a little differently. Or, I don't think this character's quite right. They need to be more like this, or this moment is going to be really important to the fans. And they'd be like, oh, okay, good. And then they go back and do it. And then that's the result we got, which is very different from assuming that the only reason we got a good show was because the original creator insisted on them doing everything the way that he wanted them to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 They was adapting the work with his help.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
it was
think I think Netflix really, this is why they're the only streaming service that's actually bloody making money at the moment, because they're actually producing some bangers.
Yeah. And there's, I think, a real effort to please the fans of the original source material. I think that if we see it done right, if Avatar: The Last Airbender is done right, they better know we've got a banging system. This is it. Like, we need to keep doing this.
Yeah. They've got the kind of template to adapting this stuff, right? That would be
and not even anything set in stone so much as these are the kind of attitudes and people that we need. We need people who want to produce not what they want to produce, but what the fans are going to want to see. And so my understanding again is also that there is a huge effort to only hire people who are super enthusiastic about the original material. So you're hiring people who love it, who aren't like, what am I working on now? Like, I guess it's this Airbender show. I better go and look up what that is.
Mocking and that's it.
Yeah.
But do you think they learned from The Witch? Do you think they learned from Witcher?
Yeah.
I
hope so.
It's a different group within Netflix that did Witcher. So apparently there's different overseers, and there's it's called, I'll have to get the details more on this, but it's called 4-quad programming. I think I mentioned it in our last hogCAST, where the focus is men, women, adults, children. And if you have a show that is expected to appeal to all of them, it's called 4-quad programming. And so they've got one person in charge of all of that. And so decisions are made about assembling teams by the same people for those programs. The Witcher would not have appealed to children, so I highly doubt that it was considered
Right.
for quad programming. I bet it was under somebody else. I can't confirm that because I didn't look it up.
Probably
But
under some
it
people-
wasn't under the list of stuff that I was told were under the for quad programming, but like Lost in Space was One Piece.
Well, but Blue Eyed Samurai wouldn't have been
No,
either,
it
would it?
wasn't.
No.
No, it wasn't. But that was also, was that produced by Netflix, do you know? Or was that an animation studio that was,
I think it might have been a buy-in rather than
yeah,
yeah.
that's
direct
kind of what I
production.
expect. But I know that they're doing animation, like Castlevania. Or was it by the people who did Castlevania?
Castlevania was pretty good.
I didn't see it, but I know that it's good.
Yeah,
It just didn't interest me. But
oh, that's a point. Has anyone heard about Time Bandits? The TV.
No.
They're not. Please
what?
tell me they're not.
Wow.
And
I have
I'm,
nothing to say on the subject.
and I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's Sakawaka Hikakititi.
Oh no.
No.
And Terry Gilliam has walked off the set. He was
Good.
what reminded me
Good.
of this was Amber saying like Oka or Duka or Uka Oka was there. Oda in One Piece. Terry Gilliam was there
He's
with
the-
Time Bandits and has basically just shook his head and just gone.
Wow.
Good.
So
Who's producing that?
I don't know.
I just thought of another one. The 3-body problem. I know you guys haven't
Oh,
heard
I
about
yes.
saw
it.
the trailer.
but
I saw the trailer the other
yes.
day.
That is expected to do
That-
very well.
That trailer was awesome.
Oh.
I saw that the other day. It was an awesome trailer.
The
Yeah.
premise is this,
I'm going to look that
is
up
that
after this.
the premise is this. Aliens are coming, and we know that they're coming to destroy humanity, and we haven't got a chance. But they won't be here for like 100 years or something. So the whole world has to like, how do we prepare for imminent death in 100 years? Some people won't care. Some people are going to be like, we need to collaborate and do stuff. It's a lot of different stories happening during this period of we need to develop the technology to defend ourselves. At the same time, people are taking advantage of the situation. It's very complex. It made a huge splash in science fiction in the book nerd corners of the world.
I take offense at that.
I'm in there. I'm
just
considered.
don't worry, SJM, but he's one.
I'm in there. Yeah. I didn't read it, but it's like on my list of like I have to read this one because the concept sounds fantastic, but I know it's kind of a scary story. I know that a lot of people who come away from it say it's one of those books that sort of changes the way that you look at the world. Like it's a little bit traumatizing because the author did such a good job at considering how would societies react? How would humans as an entire organism react to the knowledge of imminent doom unless they can do something to defend themselves?
Yeah.
Don't look up that movie. That's how they react.
Ignore the imminent doom.
Oh, there was a really fun movie that I just watched recently. I can't remember what the hell that it's called, but it was like Jack and Mary Go Big or something like that. It's the true story of this old retired couple, and the guy was an accountant, but he was like, he went to school for math or something, and he finds this flaw in a lottery system, and it's got Bryan Cranston in it. He plays the guy, and he's sitting in a coffee shop, and in about 3 minutes he realizes he knows how to play this lottery game and win every time. And he tells his wife about it, and she's like, yes, let's do this. So like they start investing everything into this and making millions, like 25 million in a month, kind of like that's their average. And then they get their whole town involved because their town is sort of like in a situation where it's fading, it's dying, but it's such a great little community, and it's a true story. It's really fun. You will not be disappointed. Go and watch it. It's oh gosh.
Story.
It's a true story. Yeah. And I watched the making of it, and like the behind the scenes, like 60 minutes interviews with the real couple. They're just as cute as can be. They never like went out and bought like a huge house or anything. They still live in the same little house, and they're like, but they're worth like so much money. They let's see, I gotta find what is it? Harry, is it Harry? And
they share some tips with us.
Go large. Okay, Jerry and Marge Go Large. And it was on, where did I see it on? Here, Go Large.
No, we're doing next week, lads. The lottery.
It's a sign.
No, it's a great movie. I think you'll just have a lot of fun. It was on Paramount Plus, Vudu. Yeah. Okay, if you don't have Paramount Plus, you can get it on YouTube, or on Amazon. But Jerry and Marge Go Large. Highly recommend. It's not like falling into our comics and sci-fi and fantasy, but it was nice to have like this fun movie where it's like this old couple that discover how to win the lottery and they get away with it. So
sounds good.
I'll have a look.
That sounds cool.
Research purposes.
Yes.
Research purposes.
a palate cleanser. I call them palate cleansers.
Yeah, a little sorbet. Yeah, in between all the other shit.
When you're trying to get that kernel of corn out of the poo all the time, you just want a palate cleanser every once in a while.
Yes. You're everywhere, didn't you? You got to get that. Yeah, finding that sweet is getting rarer and rarer. Sweet floaters around. I think on that note, guys.
Fallout.
What?
I just saw Fallout season 1 premieres in 2024.
What's that?
That was on the game. That was a game, wasn't it?
Does nobody know what Fallout is? A huge game. It's a huge post-apocalyptic game.
A huge franchise. Yeah, it's a dystopian sci-fi.
Yeah, that's going to be like
nuclear apocalypse.
I think it's going to be a lot like what was the one that we did?
Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. It's going to be like that, but more
Talking
action.
of that, we've got Walking Dead, Rick and Michonne as well, haven't we?
Oh.
We've got the new Walking Dead show in February as well.
Oh yeah, I saw a trailer for that. What, the Rick and Michonne show?
Yeah, The Ones Who Live.
That did look good.
Yeah.
What is Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder? Las Vegas.
He done a film, Army of the Dead, about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's something.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's one coming out in 2024 too.
Oh.
Starring Dave Bautista, Ana de la Reguera, bunch of people. Zack Snyder's animated horror series focuses on Dave Bautista's Scott Ward, who, along with his rescue team, will have to protect those they love from a zombie outbreak.
Nice.
Might be all right.
Here we go. I like the film. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, to be fair, Zack Snyder might as well do animated anyway, amount of special effects he always uses.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine how many in traditional animation. Imagine how many cells he's going to use.
It's a series, though. I reckon it's going to be 10 episodes. To take the slow mo out, it's actually 5 episodes.
No, that's going to be his thing. Like Hog just said, he's only going to use one cell and he's going to pass it across the screen like this.
That depends. Will there be a woman sowing corn or whatever it is in a field that you then need to do it in slow mo?
Have you seen Zack Snyder's Star Wars that someone done?
Rebel Moon, yeah.
No,
oh no,
actual Zack Snyder Star Wars. So you've got the first scene of Star Wars. So you've got the ship and the lasers and all that, and then you've got Darth Vader coming through the door, and everything's how it was in Star Wars until Darth Vader comes through the door, and it's all the old footage, but then it goes into slow motion, the music, and then he takes like one step, and each footfall is like going, And the music, like, you know, modern music in the background. But that was about as much as I watched. I thought, oh, I know, I've got to laugh out
I
of
know
it.
where this is going. Yeah.
So that was that. But yeah, he's coming under some flack for that, isn't he, the guy?
Good. That was wrong.
Rey was wrong.
That was way wrong.
Yeah, there was something wrong about it. When, like you were saying earlier on, Amber, about how Villeneuve got everything across and not explaining every single thing, not explaining the history of the universe. And like I said about Rebel Moon, it's the exact opposite. They try to cram so much in instead of just saying, here's the bad guy from the big spaceship who's been sent by the Emperor. End of. We don't have to, we can fill in the blanks. In fact, we can probably imagine a better Emperor and a better home planet, this and a better that. No, we have to have half hour in between, cut in between everything else, slowing everything else down to explain exactly where we are, what we're doing, what it means, why he should be doing it, why he's a bad guy, why we should hate him. Some, you know, like, oh, come on.
I think we talked about that in the last hogCAST too.
Yeah, I think he's a great visual director, but he's just shite at storytelling. He needs someone else to write the story for him.
Nothing wrong with that. You can be a, you know, really awesome filmmaker, but you need somebody else to be reining you in or pointing you in the right direction. It happens all the time.
I mean, I know that lots of, and obviously we talked about it earlier with Blue Eyed Samurai, you know, you can see all the influences coming through and you can kind of, you know, and it's almost like Easter eggs in effect, you know, when you're watching it, and you think, oh, that's from that. Oh, that, you know, you kind of get it, but it's still a story in its own right. Whereas what he did with Rebel Moon is he just nicked stuff, basically.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Fantasy and sci-fi throughout.
Yeah.
And I didn't give a toss about the characters.
No.
Not a single one of them.
There's so many.
Yeah, but I didn't give a toss.
No. And she was a classic. I mean, the lead in it really was the classic.
Oh God, Mary Sue, yeah.
Really not caring, but if you don't give us the gang, you know, around, you know, like they did in Blue Eye Samurai, if you're not going to really, not that it was exactly the same thing, but even Judge Dredd is a classic example. You need him. That's why in that last film they did, they put him, and again they went back to the source material and gave him the other judge that you followed the story through with, who you see it through her eyes, really, looking at how awesome he is. So, and they could have done anyway.
You're talking about the Carl Urban film? When Carl Urban was judged. Yeah.
Not the Stallone one.
No. I thought you'd
I've never seen so much plastic gold.
Yes, no. That's when comic book movies were of the standard they are now.
Cyclical.
We've gone full circle. We had a good moment. And then we're back.
Yeah, just we'll get back there again.
Hopefully. And on that, come on that note of hope, let's leave it there, shall we? Thank you, guys. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Great fun.
It's always fun. Always fun.
Always.
And until, let's freeze frame till next time, yeah?
Oh, you want to do freeze frame now, do you?
Don't
Well, you're here.
Don't solve. We missed you, really.